Tonight we're getting answers after a controversial picture was sent to us showing a candidate pictured with a swastika. Plus,
how do things like masks and social distancing work for the hearing and visually impaired? I'm Zach Shermley outside the Montana School for the Deaf and Blind, where we're just a few days into the first week of school here. I'll have those answers coming up.
And later, as devastating wildfires continue to burn across the West, how ranchers are working with Congress to prevent more in the future.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
The pandemic has made going back to school a much bigger challenge for students, teachers, and families this year. Thanks for making KRTV a part of your evening. I'm Tim McGonigal.
And I'm Hallie Schwinnard. For the hearing and visually impaired, it's even harder. A few days into their first week back, MTN's Zach Shermley checked in with the Montana School for the Deaf and Blind.
The school year has officially started here in Montana. It's one bound for the history books. Teachers across the state tackling the challenges of in-person learning during a pandemic. The pandemic has created all sorts of challenges for schools here in Great Falls, but none of those challenges are felt greater than here at the Montana School for the Deaf and Blind.
Rely on using lip reading, and with that mask, it just intervenes with that.
Masks, they're not just a barrier for the virus, but for the hearing impaired, for communication as well.
All my life I depended on reading lips, so now it's like with more people, I'm like, say it again, say it again.
We've had a lot of changes here at MSDB.
MSDB has implemented most of the same public health measures as other schools in Great Falls and across the state, including mandatory face shields, social distancing, temperature checks, limits on large gatherings, and hand washing. But here, those changes come with much greater logistical challenges.
Some of the masks we wear are shields like this so that our students, particularly our deaf, hard of hearing students, can read our lips and see our facial expressions. It's been very challenging for the visually impaired students because we tend to work closely in close physical proximity with them, and we're not able to do that now.
School officials say they have to work extra hard, regularly cleaning technology and getting creative with mask wearing to keep students safe. MSDB is the only school of its kind in the state attracting students and family from across the Northwest. It's a one-of-a-kind learning experience that completely changed when the school had to transition to online learning.
It was definitely a challenge and a pretty steep learning curve.
I am totally happy to be back because of the interaction with people.
Despite the extra challenges, overwhelmingly students and staff here at MSDB happy to be back and eager to start the new year ahead. In Great Falls, I'm Zach Shermley, MTN News.
For more details and the full interviews with MSDB students and staff, just head to our website. Great Falls Public Schools headed back to the classroom today, but teachers have spent a lot of time in the classroom over the summer getting things ready, changing rooms around, and getting gear in order.
Instead of having communal spaces and communal things like that, I've numbered a lot of the textbooks, things that they're going to have, so they have their individual items in their classroom so they're not sharing with other students.
Each time they go into a classroom, they're going to have to use hand gel as they enter, and we have socially distanced them as much as possible in seating arrangements in each classroom. What also will be different, the children will be, as they are getting ready to leave the classroom, be cleaning just their classroom or desk area and chair area.
Some other changes include suspending the use of lockers, one-way hallways, and signs reminding everyone to keep their distance.
One local school district now has a lot more school supplies to help students in need. Bikers for Kids in Need and Alliance for Youth, both local groups, have teamed up to donate about $1,500 worth of backpacks and school supplies to Great Falls Public Schools. Bikers for Kids in Need bought the supplies because people have been reaching out asking for help. Alliance for Youth is coordinating the distribution. To find out how you can get some of the supplies, you can check out this story on KRTV.com. A University of Montana faculty member is quarantining after testing positive for COVID-19. And while in-person classes just started this week for U of M, authorities say the impacts from this case to campus are minimal. College of Arts and Media interim dean confirms a faculty member in the School of Theater and Dance has been quarantined after testing positive for COVID. According to an email sent to staff, the Missoula City County Health Department conducted contact tracing. The email states exposure happened off campus and was the result of community spread. Well, showers and storms are staying to the south for most of us, and our Storm Tracker weather team is here to tell us more. For the very latest, let's send it over to Grant Garland.
Well, good evening, Tim. Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody had a great day with their first day back to school. Hopefully you were able to learn a lot. Right now we are looking at showers and thunderstorms mainly staying to the south of us. Anaconda getting in on a little bit of rain, but most of everything is staying around and south of Butte. Now temperatures 84 degrees in the Electric City as well as in the capital, 81 in Lewistown, 90 though in Glasgow, and 89 in Jordan. Our winds 10 miles an hour here in Great Falls, 17 in Glasgow though, in Havre 13. Overall, tonight temperatures will be falling down to right around the 54-degree mark for Great Falls, 55 in Lewistown, 56 in Hayes, as well as looking at 58 in Glasgow. As we go throughout the next several hours though, before that, temperatures warming down to around 70 degrees by 9 p.m. with partly cloudy to mostly clear skies, and that should be the continuing trend. Cooler weather is moving in, but the question is when? Well, find out here in a few minutes, but for now, back to you.
Thank you, Grant. It's a very special night in Havre where there's a ribbon cutting ceremony for the new football stadium. Tom Wiley is joining us in Havre tonight, and Tom, it's also a ceremony for one well-known family up there.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Hallie and Tim. You know, it is a really cool night up here in Havre. We just did the ribbon cutting ceremony for the new football field on the campus here at MSU Northern. I'm joined by the Chancellor, Greg Hegel. And Greg, this is a pretty amazing event. It's taken some time to get here. What's it like to reach this and be able to cut the ribbon and welcome people into this new stadium?
Yeah, we said earlier that it's a dream come true. It's a field of dreams, and it certainly is. The whole concept from start to finish occurred over a course of a couple of years. Mm-hmm. But we were just looking at photos a few minutes ago, and the first tracks on this stadium were March 5th. And so you figure that we've done all of this work from raising all the money to building the stadium and laying the turf in 5 months. It was an incredible feat.
Yeah, you know, we certainly wish we had a football game to watch up here, but nonetheless, it's going to get plenty of use in a number of other avenues, including a ceremony tonight to honor a guy who's meant a lot to MSU Northern athletics, academics, everything. Mike Tillman, he'll be honored tonight for his contributions and his family's contributions to MSU Northern. Talk about what he and his family have meant to MSU Northern.
Well, you know, everybody, the first time when you talk about Big Mike, you know, the NFL pro, and he's been in the community his entire life, born and raised in Chinook, made contributions all over the northern half of Montana, but especially at MSU Northern. His legacy will live here forever. He's been an integral part of different program developments, things in ag mechanics, agriculture, diesel mechanics, automobile mechanics, and then then you come back to football, and it was Mike Tillman really that brought football back to this campus 20 years ago. And through that 20 years, his contributions with the Northern Lights Athletic Scholarship Foundation, the NFL pheasant hunt that we do annually that's coming up here in October, all of those things have meant millions of dollars. That it goes to Northern, but I always like to throw in that all of it goes back to the students. And I think that's a huge thing, and a huge tribute to him and his family, that they've really paved the way for a lot of students to achieve the goals and the dreams that they have too.
All right. Well, coming up here at the football stadium, they'll be honoring Mike Tillman and his family. Greg, thank you so much for joining us. Reporting from Havre, Tom Wiley, MTN News. Hallie, Tim, back to you.
All right, thanks, Tom. Well, MTN News is following up on allegations around a Republican candidate running to represent Montana House District and a Nazi flag displayed behind him. We received this picture of Ed Buttry sitting in a room with the framed flag behind us from Democratic candidate Jamie Horn. Horn said in an email, the issue with said photo is framed swastika hanging proudly on the wall. It's important to note that though I am disgusted by this revelation, I did not take the photo and merely acquired it. The identity of the photographer is not known to me or anyone involved with my campaign, end quote. Buttry told MTN News the flag is displayed at the VFW building in Great Falls, along with a sign clearly indicating the flag was captured. The room is filled with other collections and World War II memorabilia. MTN News was not able to film inside the VFW, but we were able to take these pictures, verifying the object's location. Buttry sent a statement to MTN this morning saying in part, quote, "This is really sad as the picture was taken at a location where we honor our veterans and of a flag that was captured during World War II. I find it shameful and disturbing that these types of political games are being played. In this time of pandemic, we should be focused on Montana, not on deceptive, dirty politics," end quote. Upon further inspection of the first photo, we did notice there seems to be no sign above the flag in the picture sent to us, but pictures taken today by MTN show the sign and wire hangers clearly visible. VFW staff say the flag's display marking it as a captured flag has been there since the flag was first hung years ago.
Coming up, how ranchers are working with Congress and the Trump admin to prevent damaging wildfires.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
Welcome back. Wildfires continue to burn across the West, including right here in Montana.
And ranchers are working with Congress and the Trump administration on the need to prevent these catastrophic wildfires in the future. The Montana Ag Network's Russell Nimitz has more on the story.
According to the National Interagency Fire Center, there are 93 active large wildfires currently burning across the United States, which have charred over 1.8 million acres. Caitlin Glover is the executive director of NCBA's Natural Resources and the Public Lands Council and says, even though fire is a natural part of the ecosystem, preventing these catastrophic wildfires is important to America's livestock industry.
Fire is a natural part of the ecosystem cycle, right? What we're trying to prevent are these large, catastrophic, incredibly hot, incredibly fast-moving fires that do take the homes, they take the outbuildings, and we've seen horrific images in the past of cattle and sheep who aren't able to get out of the way. So those are the kind of fires that we're trying to prevent.
And she says lessons can be learned from the past so that future regulations and treatments fit the environment's true resource needs.
If we make those regulations right-sized, if we make sure that we have the flexibility to react to a fire on the ground or to a flood on the ground or even drought conditions, we're going to find that our managers are going to be much more successful, and ultimately we will see better range conditions, better conditions for cattle, better conditions for our rural communities who face all of these impacts when catastrophic fire comes through.
In Billings, Russell Nimitz, MTN News.
Well, coming up, we're going to talk about our east central and northeast central part of the area, possibly severe weather tomorrow. Don't go away. Your 7-day forecast is coming up next.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Grant Garland.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you have had a fantastic Wednesday. We are one day closer to Friday. Temperatures today not so bad as what we have seen in the past. 87 degrees in Great Falls, 86 in Helena, 82 in Lewistown, and 88 in Havre. Now, the average for this time of year is right around 79 degrees. So, yes, we were above it, but it felt a lot better than it did this past weekend. The record set back in 1894 when it was 96 degrees. That was also the year that the Jungle Book was published. You can go and read all about Mowgli back then. 81 degrees right now in Lewistown, 90 in Glasgow, 89 in Jordan, 84 in Great Falls, and 80 in Cut Bank. Now, even though our winds aren't a problem right now, well, we did see winds that were close to 25 miles an hour in both Cut Bank as well as Great Falls, 29 in Havre, 22 in Jordan, and 31 in Glasgow. Now, overall, we are looking at the showers and thunderstorms staying well south of Helena, just a few raindrops in Anaconda, but much of the activity is staying off towards Butte and headed out towards Bozeman. As far as our winds are concerned for tomorrow, we could be looking at 10 to 20 mile per hour winds for a lot of folks, possibly 20 to 30 mile per hour winds here in the Electric City. When is our driest time, though, for tomorrow? Well, it's going to be in the late afternoon, early evening hours, right around 5 o'clock when we're seeing 20% humidity. Any thunderstorms that do develop tomorrow, we're just going to be looking at them increasing the threat for fire weather. Now, we do have a chance for some severe weather possible, mainly those staying in the southeastern part of the Treasure State into the Dakotas, but we just want to go ahead and make it known that, hey, any severe thunderstorms that are able to are able to fire up, they will be able to bring within damaging wind gusts, lightning, and possibly large hail. Now, as we head throughout the night, we should start to see everything kind of like dying down, everything staying well south of us. But then tomorrow morning, we're going to be looking at pretty much clear skies for the high line. Down towards Butte and Bozeman, rain showers, Helena, looking at partly cloudy skies, 20% chance of possibly a clip of a storm, but everything will break out, and we should be looking at a beautiful into our Thursday as well as our Friday. Now, the one thing that I want to mention is we just need to keep our thoughts and prayers for those right around the Gulf Coast. Right now we have a strong Category 4 hurricane making landfall sometime within the next 10 hours. That's going to be making its way up towards Arkansas and then curving out towards Kentucky. But Category 4 rapid intensification that has happened over the past 12 hours, packing with it 150-mile-per-hour winds. So very, very strong hurricane impacting those down on the Gulf Coast right now. You can always stay weather aware by following me at Meteorologist Grant Garland on Facebook and downloading that free KRTV app. It is free and ever present. Temperatures tonight, 55 degrees in Lewistown, 54 in Great Falls, 55 in Helena, 51 in Havre. A little bit warmer though towards Glasgow at 58 degrees. Tomorrow, well, we are going to be looking at a cooler day. 82 degrees in Great Falls, 83 in Helena, 80 in Lewistown, 86 in Havre, and 88 in Glasgow. And as far as our temperatures are concerned, well, we are going to be dropping down to around the 60-degree mark. But first, we got to get through the first 3 days. Sunny skies for us all. It will be a nice, beautiful stretch into the weekend. Saturday, 88 degrees, but then Sunday comes. We're going to be looking at showers on the increase. Temperatures dropping down to around 63 degrees. Our night lows around 42. Jumping up to 66 on Monday. We will be looking at another good chance for showers. And then Tuesday, we start warming back up to around 74 degrees. Hallie?
Still to come, a young boy's fight against cancer tonight. See how one Montana community is rallying behind him.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
Welcome back. We introduced you to Lance Lawrence back in April. The young Forsyth boy was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer in January.
Over the past 7 months, he's shown his eastern Montana community he's more than an everyday hero. Our Slim Kimmel has his story.
Lance Lawrence, the Forsyth 5-year-old with the Iron Man mask, got a welcome home parade fit for a superhero last week.
The parade was pretty awesome. The amount of people that came out and were like, they're here for you, you know that. And he's like, yeah, I know.
Jill and Lance spent the past 7 months in Colorado as Lance went through a number of tests and treatments to shrink a 2.4 centimeter brain tumor. He made remarkable progress at Children's Hospital in Denver, with 6 2-week rounds of chemotherapy, shrinking the tumor to just 1/10 its original size by the end of June. He then started 6 weeks of radiation in July, receiving his final treatment on August 14th and returning back to Forsyth a week later.
Even though he's finished radiation, it's still progressing, but I would say that he's in remission just because the tumor shrunk so much.
During the early stages of Lance's treatment, there were plenty of questions, challenges, and scares. As he progressed through the stages, though, treatment seemed to get easier, Lance's Iron Man mask providing the extra strength and stabilization he needed.
I think he thought that was pretty awesome too. It's just a mask to hold his head still in the right spot for the treatment so that the radiation hits the right spot every time.
Like the superhero he's become, Lance got through treatment and is now back home playing with his brothers.
They're back to fighting and roughhousing and yelling at each other, so it was nice for them to all be together.
The boys and their parents rode a fire truck through Forsyth last Friday as the community continued to rally around the family. Lance waved to cheering people who lined the streets in support of their little fighter.
He knows he's a superhero. He just kept saying that. He's just happy to be home.
Slim Kimmel, MTN News.
Jill tells us Lance is just excited to be a normal kid again and that he has no limitations other than strict coronavirus restrictions. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Temperatures tonight, 54 degrees in Great Falls, 56 in Hayes. As we wake up tomorrow for the bus stop forecast, 55 degrees with mostly sunny skies. Overall, warm day to a degree, 82 degrees in Great Falls, 83 in Helena, 88 in Glasgow. We will be looking at our chances for showers and thunderstorms dying down until Sunday when our chance for showers vamp back up.
All right, I don't know how I feel about this, guys, but there's breakfast and beer joining forces. Dunkin' has teamed up with Harpoon Brewery to create 3 donut-infused beers.
Harpoon previously created Dunkin' Coffee Porter. That success led to the effort to try brewing actual Dunkin' Donuts into the ale just in time for fall. Expect to see Dunkin' Pumpkin Spice Latte Ale, Boston Cream Stout, and the Jelly Donut IPA. They hit stores next month.
I don't know.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
I don't know. I'm not
Homer
feeling it.
Simpson will be happy. Those
there
are
you go.
his 2 favorite things. All right, that's all the time we